This last mini lesson will round out Chapter 2 for us. Our learning target is determine whether a distribution of data is approximately normal from graphical and numerical evidence. The title of our lesson is Do We Have Normal Test Scores? And the subtitle is Assessing Normality. Here are the Chapter 1 test scores for the 80 of the current AP Statistics students. Now, full disclosure, there are not 80 current AP Statistics students, so this is actually just a set of data that we're using for this lesson. Just wanted to make sure that you knew that. Anyhow, our question is the distribution of Chapter 1 test scores approximately normal? Justify your answer using several different approaches. The group with the most convincing argument will win a prize. Full disclosure, there's not going to be a prize. But we are going to take a look at the data and we're going to try to figure out whether or not it is approximately normal. We know it's probably not going to be perfectly normal because that only happens in an algebra or a calculus class. That's when we have perfect functions. But in the real world, in statistics class, we're just looking for approximately. So let's think about what we might use to try to figure out if it's approximately normal. And I want you to jot some ideas down so that we can talk about them. You probably thought of the most direct approach, which is to graph the data. Now, when we graph numerical data such as this, we have 4 different options, 4 different types of graphs that are appropriate for quantitative or numerical data. And you may remember that they are the dot plot, the histogram, the stem plot, and the box plot. Each one of these will give us a different view of the data, but all of them will help us to see whether or not the data is approximately symmetric. And the box plot or the modified box plot will also let us know if we have any outliers, so that one can be useful too. You might have also remembered that when we have symmetric distributions, the mean and the median are approximately equal, so we could check to see if the mean and the median are approximately equal, and that will tell us something about the symmetry of the distribution or the skew of the distribution. And since we've been talking so much about the empirical rule, I'm sure some of you figured out that it might be a good idea for us to check and see if 68% of the data is within 1 standard deviation of the mean, 95% of the data is within 2 standard deviations of the mean, and whether 99.7 or almost all of the data is within 3 standard deviations of the mean. Those are all excellent suggestions, and this is a great opportunity for us to use some of the calculator features to help us do these things. The first step is to put all of this data into a list. And if you remember, we enter data into a list on the calculator by going to Stat Edit. That opens up the list where we want to put our data, where we want to enter all the data. And you might have some data already in list 1. Let's go ahead and clear that. So you're going to go up to highlight list 1 and then hit the clear and enter button. Now it's time to input all of those numbers into your calculator and turn the video back on when you're ready to learn how to create the different graphs. See you back in a minute. Now that the data is in our list, let's figure out how we can create the statistical plots. So what we're going to do first is go to second y equals. So the second button and then y equals for stat plots. And you can see that I have plot number 1 turned on and plots 2 and 3 turned off. We only want to look at one of them at a time right now. If we ever do a comparison of plots, we can turn on multiple plots at once. But for right now, we just want to have one on at a time. So I'm going to go to plot number 1. And this one shows the little icon for the histogram. For right now, the only ones that I want you to worry about are the histogram icon and the modified box plot icon. In a few minutes, we're going to learn something about this one, which is the normal probability plot. So our data is in list 1. We do not have our table of data entered as a frequency table. It's just all single individual points of data. And then the next thing that we're going to do is zoom, which is on the top row, zoom, and then the number 9 for stat plot. And what this does is it gives statistical scaling, which is great, but it's not always nice round numbers, which is what we like to see. So in order to make nice round numbers, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the window. If you click on the window button, then we can change the scaling. So I'm going to change this to a minimum of 50, a maximum of 110, because even though there are no grades of over 100, I want to be able to see the full bar and some space on the right hand side. My scaling is going to be by tens, and my Y minimum, let's just make it -5. That's so we can see that horizontal axis. My maximum, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I'm going to try 30. And my Y scaling, I can leave it by ones. That'll show individual counts. And I'm not going to zoom 9 anymore because that would take away the window that I just created. I'm going to hit instead that graph button over on the right hand side. And we can see we still need a little bit more height. So I'm going to go back to window and increase this to 50. And we'll see if that's better. And again, the graph button. Okay, so we can see this beautifully now. And as it turns out, our histogram does not look very symmetric. It looks a little bit left skewed. So far, it doesn't really indicate to us that it's an approximately normal distribution, but we're not done yet. So let's try a different type of graph. To create a different kind of stat plot, we're going to go back to second y equals, and we're going to go back to plot 1, and we're going to choose this time the modified box plot, which is the box plot with the little dots next to it. The dots are outliers. So if we use this box plot, it actually calculates and shows us the outliers. If we do the other box plot to the right, it does not. So once again, I'm going to choose that one. So now it's highlighted. It asks me again, where is my data, which it's still in list 1. And this time, I'm going to zoom 9. Whoops. Sorry about that. So zoom 9 so that we can get that statistical scaling. Now you'll see that we've got 2 outliers on the left-hand side. So it doesn't really fit the requirement of a normal because it's got outliers. So let's see what else we can do with this. At this point, let's run the one variable statistics and see how close the mean and the median are to each other. So I'm going to quit out of this, second quit, and I'm going to go back to stat, this time calc, and one variable statistics, which is that first option on the list. My data is in list 1. We do not have a frequency list. And let's see what we've got. So our mean is shown as 79.325, and our median is shown at 80. So they're actually really close, indicating to us that it's possible. But the other 2 graphs are indicating that it's really probably not approximately normal. So let's see if there's anything that can give us a deciding vote. Okay, one more try with this calculator. I'm going to go back to second y equals to the stat plots and access plot number 1. And this time I'm going to use the icon all the way on the right hand side. Now, it's asking us where the data is. It's still in list 1. That hasn't changed. And it's asking us if we want the data to be on the x-axis or on the y-axis, meaning the horizontal or the vertical. We're going to keep it exactly as it is. And then we're going to zoom 9. So once again, zoom key on the top and the number 9 for statistical scaling. Now this gives us what is called the normal probability plot. And you can probably, you're wondering what this is graphing. And the normal probability plot is actually graphing z-scores. So this is a plot of all of the z-scores, and what we're looking for is approximately linear normal probability plot. When we have an approximately linear normal probability plot, we can say that our distribution of data is approximately normal. This is kind of like the deciding factor in the end. And I just want to show you, it is kind of approximately normal, or approximately linear, indicating approximately normal, but we have these kind of values at the bottom and at the top that are maybe showing to us that we don't have an approximately normal distribution. So at this point, we've assessed in every way that we know how to do, except checking the 68, 95, and 99.7 rule. And that's what's next. We need the mean and the standard deviation from our one variable stats. And we're going to be checking, first of all, the mean plus or minus one standard deviation. And that would be 79.325 minus 8.933 and plus 8.933. So let's get those values. That gives us values of 70.392 and 88.258. So what we need to do next is go back to the original data and count how many values are between those two numbers. So pause the video while you go back and count. You're looking for how many are between 70 and 88. I counted 54 test scores are greater than 70 and less than 88. I'll tell you a little trick. The easiest way to do this is to sort the list in your calculator. Hit the Stat button, and when you do that, you'll see Edit, Calc, and Tests. Well, you're going to go down to Sort A, which means sort in ascending order. When you click on that, it opens a parentheses. You tell it second one for list one, and then press Enter. It should come back and say Done. Now, when you go to Stat Edit and look at your list, all of the values are in order, and you can count the ones that you are interested in. So anyhow, back to what we were doing. We have 54 test scores out of 80 that are between those two values. And so when we do 54 out of 80, it needs to be at least 68%. And it's 67.5%. So that is just about right on the money. That's amazing. So now let's try mu plus or minus 2 standard deviations. So technically what we're going to be doing is taking 79.325 and subtracting 2 times 8.933, or adding 2 times 8.933. Practically speaking, all we need to do is take 70.392 and subtract another standard deviation. That gives us a lower limit value of 2 standard deviations of 61.459. Now let's do 88.258 plus another 8.933. And that gives us a value of 97.191. So we're going to go back now to our list and see how many are inside that range. To be fair, I think most of the values are inside that range, so what we might want to do is count how many are outside that range and then do our division to see if it meets the 95% within 2 standard deviations rule. There were 5 on the lower end and none on the upper end that were outside of that range. 80 minus 5 is 75. So 75 out of the 80 test scores were within 2 standard deviations. And that means that 93.75% of the data fell within 2 standard deviations. So let's compare to what we, oh, by the way, if we do the 3rd standard deviation, we know that it's going to fall because the numbers go lower than our lowest and higher than our highest values. So we can show it for formality. And then let's think about what we were trying to figure out to begin with. Is our data approximately normal or is it not? And the 1 standard deviation is supposed to be 68% for the empirical rule, and it was 67.5% falls within, so that checks out. The next one is 95% of the data are supposed to fall within two standard deviations, and we're very close at 93.75. And 99.7% of the data are supposed to fall within 3 standard deviations, and of course that checks out as well. Even though we had some conflicting information with the histogram looking a little bit left skewed and the box plot having 2 outliers on the left-hand side, that led us to think that the data was not approximately normally distributed. Then we checked and compared the mean and the median, which were very close. That led us to think that the data could be normally distributed. We looked for a tiebreaker with the normal probability plot, and we found that most of the data did look approximately linear, but we had those little hooks on both ends. So maybe it was inconclusive, maybe it was pointing us in the not approximately normally distributed side, but then we used the empirical rule, and that led us to conclude that the data is close enough to normal that if we were trying to use probabilities and table A and normal CDF and inverse norm, we would be able to get approximate values using the normal distribution. So we're going to conclude our data, our test scores are approximately normally distributed. Not perfect, but close enough. Let's fill out our box of important ideas on the next page. So to check normality, we did a few different things, starting with graphing the data. We could use a dot plot, histogram, stem plot, or box plot. The next thing that we did was compare the mean and median, because if they're approximately equal, we know that we have one indicator towards symmetry. Then we used the normal probability plot. And last of all, but probably most importantly, we checked the empirical rule. No doubt about it, these two are the stars of the show, and those are the ones that really have the strongest influence in our determination or assessment about normality. Now, the normal probability plot, as we said before, has the data on that horizontal axis. And on the vertical axis, we've got the z-score of each value. And so what we're looking for is roughly a linear pattern, because if the normal probability plot is approximately linear, then the distribution of the data is approximately normal. And that brings us to the check your understanding question. So I'm going to conclude the video at this point. You're going to be working on your check your understanding questions, and then you're going to check your answers on the posted class notes. And next time we're together, you're going to be reviewing for your Chapter 2 test. So I'll see you back in class.